Welcome. This is Money Heart, where we explore the emotional side of money. I'm Camille Diaz, and today we're discussing The Fortune is in the Follow-Up. My guest is Bethany George. From a very young age, Bethany has been an entrepreneur, achieving early success going door to door, selling candy bars for band and cookies for Girl Scouts. And that early success came from her own tenacity, and something else that is often overlooked: the relationships she had with neighbors, friends, and local businesses. As an adult, struggling to understand the secrets to the sales of success. Yeah, that made a lot of sense, didn't it? The secrets to sales success, alliteration for the win. She realized that underlying all success is a solid network of interpersonal relationships. Bethany has since expanded on that idea to unlock the secrets to accelerating business growth, creating powerful partnerships, and simplifying the sales process. Bethany, welcome to Money Heart.
Whoop, whoop.
Yay, I'm so glad to have you on the show. Tell us more about this kind of early days of success in sales and how you started to realize that your success was based in relationships.
For sure. Besides the little examples you gave, one that I think about a lot is I had me and two other friends that lived in a neighborhood, and we loved to go to the town like carnival that came around every summer. And
Yeah.
our family didn't necessarily have a lot of extra money, so they're like, we don't really have the money for that right now. And so me and my friends were like, cool, we'll go make some money.
Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's a little different era than it was now. I think about for my kids, they don't have the same opportunities. But like me and my friends would literally just go knocking on doors in the neighborhood, and hi Mrs. Jones, hi Mr. Brown, whatever. Can we do any chores for you? Clean windows, vacuum, rake leaves, whatever.
Right.
And by doing that, we were able to make the money we each needed to be able to go to the carnival and get the little wristband and ride all the rides.
Yes.
And those kind of things just kind of illustrated for me that there's a solution to every problem. And what's interesting about it is that it's that thing where in our culture we reiterate so strongly the independence of people, like, oh, the gung-ho-ness of going out there and making it happen. And yes, that's true. But I wouldn't have been able to go do that if I didn't know who these neighbors were. And
Right.
our parents didn't know we were surrounded by people that we kind of knew. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, you're
and
probably not going to go, wash somebody's windows or help, clean their house or whatever if you don't really know them as
that's
a
a,
child. Your parents are going to be like, "Sure, go hang out at somebody's house that we don't know at all and just walk right in there. It's going to be fun."
right. Don't know where you are. It's
Yeah.
pre-cell phone.
Yeah, pre-cell phone. Yes, yes. We are both pre-cell phone for sure. Yep.
For
Yep.
sure.
Yeah.
And the real illustration of that story that I love to give is for the Girl Scout cookies, because I was top sales girl one year, and not because I was like trying to be. My goal, again, I had a desire in mind. I wanted to go to Girl Scout camp and ride
Yep.
horses. I loved horses. I lived in the city, didn't have access, so
Yeah.
my option was to go to Girl Scout camp, and the way to make that possible was to sell Girl Scout cookies. So I was doing the same thing, knocking on the neighbors' doors, and ended up at a friend's house. And she's like, "Hey, let's go ask my dad who works at the local factory." And it was more of a warehouse, like packing place. It wasn't factory
Yeah.
sounds scary, but
I wasn't concerned. You knew them, so it's fine.
yeah, I'm still here. But we went over to the factory and like walked in, and I thought as soon as we walked in, seeing the receptionist at the desk, aka the gatekeeper,
Right.
that we were going to immediately get turned away. But she knew my friend, and so we're like, "Come on back, your dad's in the work, in the break room." And I, showed him my cookie sheet, told him what I was up to, and he said, "Let me go ask my coworkers." And that sheet got passed around about 20, 30 people.
Wow.
I sold, I don't know, I think 150 boxes of cookies that day. Uh,
Nice.
and it was because I knew somebody who got me in the door.
Yes, what a great story. Yeah, because if you hadn't known your friend whose dad worked there, so you knew somebody who knew somebody.
Exactly.
It wasn't even your direct connection that had the power, but your direct connection knew the person. And then that person knew all the other people who actually became your customers. So you're like 4 layers deep on the
Yeah.
people who actually did the buying from you. That is a great story of relationships and sales. I love it. How did your sales experience go when you got older? Like, did you, in the professional world, it may be equally easy, or do we have not so much? Okay, tell us about it.
It's easy when you're a cute little girl.
Uh-huh.
Yes, as an adult, I, jumped into the sales world. I did some direct selling companies for a while, and I did some corporate sales. And it was a lot harder than I thought it would be after my young experience, because as an adult, you're not cute anymore. All those no solicit signs are everywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to really figure out how do I sell people, because nobody really wants to be sold.
Right.
There's the line, no one wants to be sold, everyone wants to buy. So how do you get people in the mindset of you are positioning them to buy, you are not selling them? And that really came to mind when I was working corporate sales. I was working for a digital marketing company locally, and digital marketers are kind of like the car salesmen of B2B, um, in their perception at least.
Sure.
So I would walk in our primary clients were brick and mortar businesses, because we were
Okay.
helping them get found locally on Google.
Yeah.
And so I'd walk into a business, and there's only two kinds of people that typically walk into a business: those who are buying and those who are selling.
Sure.
And the business owner is the seller, so they don't want to be sold to. Same thing.
Right.
So there was really no way to hide what I was. I was a salesperson walking in.
Yep.
And so I learned very quickly that I needed to just de-arm their immediate, like the alarms, all the little bells that go
Yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah. Shields go up, get out, all the things. Not interested. Have a nice day. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Code red, code red. Yes.
Yes.
And so one of my tricks was, just recognizing that there was no sale to be happening that first introduction. It
Yeah.
was, hello, my name is Bethany. I am your friendly neighborhood digital marketer. That was the phrase I like to use.
Nice.
And I'd be like, I just want to introduce myself. Here's my business card. Do you have one? Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Ah, that is a surprise. That is a definite pattern interrupt because you took 30 seconds, introduced yourself, and walked away. No sales, no pitch, no call me later, no nothing. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so then what?
So then came the follow up. Ta-da!
What?
Yep. And that was really where I figured out that sales happen in follow up, not in the initial pitch. And too often I always struggle with how to umbrella this. I want to
Mm-hmm.
say traditional sales, but I'm not even sure how much of it is taught directly and how much of it is just assumed.
Mm.
But business people are selling. You have business, you're selling something. There's
Sure.
no way about
Yeah.
that. And so when we're trying to have sales, we're trying to figure out, like, how do we get people in that buying position? And some of those techniques are basically like a lion jumping on a gazelle. It's like, jump in, grab onto them, don't let them go. I was taught some of those techniques, especially in the corporate sales, like,
Yeah.
get the first meeting immediately, don't let them out of your sight.
Yeah.
It felt so ugly, and all
Yeah.
they did was struggle.
Right. Of course, because everyone's had that experience and very few of us enjoyed it. So we figured out how to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yes, yes,
So we're highly prepared. Like you said, we're going to go to red alert. We're going to throw up all the walls. We're going to paint all the exit doors and be like, this is how I'm getting out. And this is how I'm getting out. I'm going to tell them this and I'm going to say this and it's going to be a lie, but they're going to leave me alone because I said a nice thing, supposedly nice thing. Yeah. And so we're all like trained to play this game of, how do I leave? Because we have all experienced that salesperson who made us want to join the witness protection program to get away from them. And that's
yes,
not cool.
yes. Yep. And that's actually one of the witness protection is something I actually use a phrase of. It's like, if you find that people are going into witness protection, and this in direct sales, we actually use that phrase a lot because our techniques cause people to do that.
Yeah.
So if you have people that are like no call, no shows, disappearing, won't respond to you, you're using the wrong techniques.
Right.
And most people don't know any better.
Right.
The alternative is to show them that they actually matter to you beyond just you wanting the money in their wallet.
Yeah.
And so stop treating them like prey and start treating them like a partner. And
I love that.
that's why I let it sit for a second. And that comes down to building a relationship, nurturing the relationship. And very few in the world today, we're not really taught relationships in any format. Really the most focus of a relationship is in romantic, but in business, we build relationships as well. And they're just as critical. You think about my friend getting me in the factory door.
Right.
The number of really important sales you can make in business aren't going to come from your direct contacts. They're going to come from people who trust you, lend their trust to somebody else, and get you in the door.
Right. Right. Exactly right. Yeah. And it's, you only know so many people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, let's say you have close relationship with 200. You know 200, you could call them up and they would answer.
Mm-hmm.
How many 200s do those 200 know?
Right.
There's your audience. That's the people you want, right? The ones beyond your first connection contact is, yeah. And they have, the whole 6 degrees thing. You could almost get to anybody you want. It's probably easier now with social media, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah. So you could reach anybody you want if you know the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love that.
Yes.
Okay. So we know the importance. How do we do it?
Mm-hmm.
How do I do it? How do I build the relationship beyond that first initial, hey, I'm Camille. How you doing? Fantastic. Can I call you later? Do you have a card? Here's my card. That
Right.
little bit. Nice to meet you. Now what do I do? Now what do we do? Great. Got that piece. I avoided being creepy in the first meeting. Nailed it. What do I do now?
Now what? Yes, exactly. So I like to talk about the 3 elements of follow-up.
Sweet. Okay.
And the first one is recognizing that it starts at hello, my name is. So follow-up, sometimes people can classify follow-up as this tiny little window of someone showed interest and then you close the sale. So you follow up until that happens. But I say follow-up begins with hello, my name is, until the day that you decide you want nothing to do with that person again.
Yep. Okay.
It's a much bigger window, but what's really cool is it also opens up a lot of opportunities. So step 1 is to recognize that your goal is to build and trust, build, know, like, and trust, build the relationship. Keep that first and foremost, and then the other stuff will start falling into place. Step 2 is to have good tools, because our brain is a terrible place to store information.
Right? It's running on ancient programming. And that's just what it keeps doing unless you make notes and train it to do new things.
Uh-huh.
I am so all about writing stuff down and having a system and looking at what was I supposed to do again? Oh yeah. Totally will screw it up if I don't check.
Yes.
Yes.
And most of us, especially in the solopreneur space,
yeah,
we're in a business because we have a passion for it and we love what we do. So we need to make mental space to do it, not to do all the other things. And one of those big things is building those relationships. And there's a lot of data that goes with that.
Yeah.
It's remembering, how many kids somebody has. It's remembering, what time zone there is. I was asking earlier. It's also remembering, the important conversations that we've had, or when the next, follow-up is, when is the thing that I promised I'm going to do supposed to happen.
Right.
All of those things. So having a good tool to do that. And I tell people, I'm a 100% advocate for every business. Every business should have a CRM, customer relationship management software.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There are lots of tools that pretend to be, They're not.
Uh-huh.
Some examples are project management softwares like Trello, Asana, or ClickUp.
Yeah, that's for
Or
projects. Yep.
that's for projects, not for people.
Right.
It's not dynamic enough.
Yeah.
Um, or like your email marketing system, that's meant for blasting emails, not
Right.
single
Not
people.
targeted, individual, one-to-one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So get a CRM.
Yes. Get a CRM. I agree. I totally agree. Yes.
um, and then the next step, and this is the piece number 3, the thing that people actually are missing most often.
Yeah.
People come to me saying, okay, Bethany, I get it. I can't keep my head. Help me get into a CRM. And then I help them with the third thing, which is what comes next?
Right.
Good. Okay, so I got their information. I put it in the CRM.
Nailed it.
Now what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Then what do you do next? Right. What do we do?
so we look at how do you build repeatable steps that you do with most people,
Mhm.
on how to build that relationship. So it's identifying what kind of where they fit in your ecosystem. So some
Right.
people are potential clients, some people are collaborators, some, there's different spaces they can operate in.
Right.
And then you like start building the relationship. It takes multiple interactions to actually get to know somebody.
Right.
You can't meet somebody for one-to-one meeting and be like, awesome, now send me referrals. I'm waiting.
Aw, I'm so disappointed that that's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um,
So maybe getting together again for another one-to-one or doing something else or inviting them to interact on social media, I'm guessing is also, helpful. Comment on their stuff, send them resources, send them introductions of other people that they might like to meet. Yeah, so many things. Did I get any of them right?
you did.
Yay! Oh, good.
I'll give you real quick. I love threes, if you can't tell. There's a 3-word phrase that I use that kind of helps guide what are some options that I have. It's
Okay.
serve, engage, invite.
Okay.
Most of us are great at serving. So it's like providing resources, providing introductions. Um, Serving is really awesome because you're giving them something, and that kind of builds trust. What it doesn't do, it doesn't generally re-engage them back to you. So they'll take it and be like, oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Don't read this now.
And then they leave. Uh-huh.
The other one is engage, and that's truly having a conversation. I mean, like, no, not business. This is like, hey, how are your kids? You told me that so and so was sick last week.
Right.
Like, showing that you paid attention to them as a person is really important.
Yeah.
And then the third one is invite. So this is where kind of like the sales asks can live, but you have to know when's the right time to make which one. So, Camille inviting me to the podcast, inviting someone to come to a workshop, inviting someone to come to a networking event, inviting someone to come, like,
Right. Right. Yeah. Love it. I
by the
love it.
dynamic of how different ways to interact with people.
Right. Right. Yeah. And so in all of those, it's not like any of them are difficult. It's just taking the time to do it. I've definitely seen, people in the past who are just trying, and I've been guilty of this too, just burning through new people. Like I just got to meet as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got to meet them, do the one-to-ones. And they've got, full day stacked of, they can't even go to the bathroom, one-to-one meetings. But how do you even remember who you talked to that day?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
I limit how many I will do in one day because I cannot remember everybody. And so I'll do like 2 or 3, and that's my max for a day. Like
Yeah.
that's the most number of people, and I don't do them every day of the week because I won't remember you and I can't follow up with you and I can't hang out and follow you on social media and send you a text later and see how you're doing. And I can't do any of those things if I've just tried to blast through,
Right.
hundreds of people and hundreds of people and pitch them all and run to the next person. Like,
Yes. Yes.
no good.
When I worked for that digital marketing company, they expected us to have meetings with 10 to 20 people a week.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
a lot.
it was rough.
Yeah.
And so we were meeting more people than that. So like,
Right, because they won't all sit down with you.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
And we put it in, we had a CRM, we put it into their system, but like next week I couldn't even see the names of the people I met last week. That's where I really saw like the disadvantage of meeting masses of numbers. Sales is a numbers game, but don't make it just numbers, because
Right.
you can meet 100 people in a month if you're really dedicated to trying to
Sure.
kill yourself and burn out.
Yeah.
And what will you have to show for it?
Yeah.
Um,
One or
work on
two.
going deeper, not wider. What's that?
I said maybe one or two.
Right. I mean, you'll find those people. There are a handful of people. Like they say, 3% of the population are the kind that will make a decision and take an action immediately. The other 97% are like, let me think on
Yeah.
that. I'm like, that's a lot of people. And those people, those 97% of people, even though they're not going to take action right away, when they do, they're loyal.
Right.
The value of that loyalty outweighs the 3% that bought right away.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I do not need the person who signs up for 1 month and then cancels. I want the person who's going to sign up for years and
Mm-hmm.
stay. That's the person I want. Yeah. Much more long-term valuable and less work. If you're just going to go get those ones that are going to be there and then they're going to cancel, they're going to quit, they're going to whatever. Okay, you got to go find another one
Mm-hmm.
because that one didn't, now you don't have any income from that anymore. They canceled or returned. Yeah, way harder. Way harder. So much better to build the relationship and find the quality people. This is awesome. I love it. What are you most excited about right now? What's good in your world?
So I just updated my website recently.
Oh,
And
cool.
so the three elements that I talk about them on my website. And I have a quick little email sequence that you can sign up for to get more depth into what those look like and make sure that you have them implemented in your business.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. I love it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. This has been really great information on how we can be so much better at our follow-up because the fortune is in the follow-up, right? I
Yes.
love it. I love it. If you want to grab that email sequence, you can jump on Bethany's website, thefollowupboss.com, and get that. You can also follow up with her on social media at The Follow Up Boss. Thank you as well to all of our listeners and viewers. I'm your host, Camille Diaz. I'm a business optimization coach, financial educator, author, and speaker. You can contact me and find out what I'm up to through my website, CamilleDiaz.com, and follow me on social media at Cam Unfiltered. Be sure to follow MoneyHeart at MoneyHeart Show, and our website is MoneyHeartShow.com. Bethany, would you like to share today's money mantra?
For sure. So the size of the obstacle is based purely on your perception. If it looks too big, get a different perspective.
I love that. Thank you so much.